Okay, so now we'll test that rectangle collide function. And to do that, I'm imagining, a bunch of random blocks all around, and I'll try to collect them. So let's see how that goes. So the function itself, pretty straightforward. Rect collide takes in two rectangle objects. So I need some rectangle objects. I've got one, my player, x, y, width, and height. Right, because that's what it requires, an x, y, width, and a height. Now let's make some blocks. I'll make that an array, and we'll just do random blocks. Why don't we do this? Let blocks be assigned a function called init blocks, and we can even pass in how many blocks I want, maybe 50. And down here under my helper functions, we'll have a function called init blocks. N for the number of blocks that we need, and for good practice, right? Initialize an array with n random blocks. Okay, so then I would just go let temp be assigned an empty array. For I want to loop for num is assigned 1, num is less than or equal to n, num plus plus, or you can go 0 up to n, from 1 to n, doesn't matter. I just want to loop n times. And we'll go temp.push, and what do I want to push? A new random block. And that will be a function. Function new random block. Doesn't take any arguments, just return a random block is the goal of this function. So return, and oh dear, I wish I had my random library with me. I didn't do my random library. That's okay. New random block, what am I returning? My block needs an x property, which will simply be math.random times canvas.width, a y property, math.random times canvas.height, and I don't want semicolons at the end. Sorry, I want commas, because it's an object, right? So comma. My width, no, they can be all the same size. Maybe we'll make them 15 and a height of 15. They just have a random location. Okay, cool. Maybe we'll add a color property too, and for now we'll just do they'll all be the same color. How about a nice green? Brilliant. Okay, so save that. That's my blocks. Hopefully that works. And then what I would suggest here, yeah, okay, call the function here. We should clean this up maybe. Yeah, let's get some more helper functions. Function, background, and we're going to make this look a lot nicer. So we'll get that out, and we'll just go background like so. I don't need this point in rectangle stuff anymore. We'll say draw player using the right parentheses, and that's this. Right, like each function should have one job, and my draw function is going to be a big boss function that calls a bunch of other functions to do their things. Okay, and then I think we should have a function called draw blocks, and that doesn't exist, so let's make it. Function draw blocks. Even though the function name is pretty descriptive, you should still add a comment, draw all the blocks. Okay, let's fill these in. Filled in blocks. Fill style is assigned. Oh dear, how do we? Okay, because I was going to do this color thing here. Meh. Unless I have every block the same color. Yeah, let's just make it green. Otherwise, I'd put this inside of my loop. We're going to get a loop started right away. For let I be 0, I is less than, what did I call it, blocks. Dot length, I plus plus. And my draw blocks is going to loop through all of my blocks and tell them to draw. So let's have a function called, we're going to do all sorts of functions. Draw block that takes in blocks I. Awesome. So we'll add a comment here, draw a single block. Function draw. Oops, I did draw block. Sorry, auto-corrected for me probably because it knew that was a function. Draw block. Oh, hi, Isaac Keller. Should turn those off so that they don't show up on the videos. Okay, draw block, and this will take in a block, right? So blocks I is going to be one of the block objects. I should have done, this is, hopefully you guys are good with this, but if not, it's a good review. We'll eventually get to that rectangle collide, hopefully in this video. So here we'll go, oh wow, that's not what I wanted. ctx.fill style is assigned a block.color. Oh yeah, I decided not to do that. We got rid of the color. But this is where you would do it, right? Say, hey, assign it to be that color. We're just going to assign it once to be green here. And then this is just going to be ctx.fill rectangle a block. Let's just call it block.x, not a block. Block.y, block.width, block.height. Extra bracket. Okay, nice modularized code. And of course, more updates. All right, my period 4 class must be starting. Okay, let's see if we wrote a bunch of code. Hopefully it works. No error, of course. That's good. Troubleshooting, main.js line 80. Let blocks. It's telling me that blocks is undefined. Oh dear. Oh, init blocks. Let's check that. Oh, I never return temp. Right, so we created our local variable, our array, and we push things to it, but then we have to actually return it so that it gets assigned to this global variable. Okay, and that is best practice. Like you could have said, hey, couldn't I just have this global variable? But now we could reuse this to make another array if we wanted to. Okay, hopefully that works. Yay, look at all the blocks. I'm so happy. Okay. Now we get to actually, can I still move? Yeah, I can still move. So I want to eat these up. So let's go to our draw function. That's where everything originates from here. I think after we move the player, we should have a an eat block function. Eat blocks, we'll call it. Let's just put that down below here. Eat blocks, and this will be check if player ate any blocks. Okay, so I need to check each individual block, right? Because the where is it? This function takes in 2 rectangle objects, not an array, right? So I got to loop through the array and check every individual block. So let's do that boring loop that we always do. Blocks.length. Super useful loop, but you do it so much it becomes boring. And then we'll do our if statement here. If rectangle collide, and my first rectangle is going to be the player, and my next rectangle will be blocks at position I. Okay, and if that's true, then let's just for now go console.log collide. Okay, so I move, hey, collide, collide, collide. Look at that go. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright, so now what do I want to do when they collide? I don't want to print something off. I want to remove the block. So blocks at position I. Oh no, blocks dot splice at position I one thing. Right, from the array we want to remove one element from position I, because that's the block that collided with the player according to this function. And I think what we can do there is we can probably do a break here. the break command breaks out of the nearest loop. So I'm only going to eat one block at a time. There could be the odd situation where there's like an overlap of two blocks and you get them both, but I think it's more efficient if we break and say, hey, I collected one block, don't bother checking all the rest of them. All right, let's see if that works. So, boop. Hey, look at that. I'm eating up some blocks. Okay. All right. I am going to stop there, even though I want to eat all these blocks. It's that addictive nature. We got to keep going until it's done. Anyway, let's stop there. That's the game library. Okay, also the circle collide, of course, if you had circles, works the same way as the rectangle collide. Okay, returns true or false. But yeah, that should hopefully help you. That game library has lots of useful tools. Organize your projects with these nice functions, right? I would probably, as my project gets larger, put these functions in different files as well, right? Organize them into different files and go from there. But yeah, hopefully you can use this as a bit of a starter project, and that game library will help you. All right, take care, have fun.